Have you ever felt so good about something that you were doing that it felt like everything just flowed? Or maybe that you began to feel so passionate about a specific topic or subject or a thing that you were doing in your life. Or maybe you felt as if this was your purpose. This thing that you were doing or this project that you were working on was the absolute purpose of why you were put on this earth in the first place. You see, I think the magic and the secret sauce behind being so productive and successful and a high performer and a high achiever is the marriage between what you are passionate about and what your purpose is. Now, sometimes for many people, this might take an entire lifetime to try to figure out. You may spend 4 years in undergrad and 2 more years in grad school and have this degree in something that you thought you were really going to enjoy, and all of a sudden you started in this field and you hate it. Then you spend another 10 years trying to figure out what it is that you should be doing, and then finally you figure out, okay, I am X. Now that's more of a dramatic type of situation, but at the same time, you spent 16 years of your life, and then you've arrived at this perfect state of bliss, knowing that you found exactly what you are truly passionate and love doing, and you feel like it's your reason for being. There's a guy out there named Steven Kotler, and Steven is basically the guy to go to learn about something called a flow state. And a flow state, in my extremely short abbreviated explanation of it, is when your body and mind are in a state of frequency and everything is connected, where what you're doing feels so effortless. Time seems to go by so quickly, and you feel incredibly focused. For instance, when I was a kid, I used to be into any type of action sports. My big thing was rollerblading, aggressive inline, skateboarding, wakeboarding, snowboarding, whatever it is. If it had a board and wheels and it went fast, I was on it. And every time almost every time I would be doing that sport, I would go pretty much in and out of flow states. Time would definitely go by quickly because I'd be having fun, but I'd be very focused, I'd be very clear-minded, and especially when I was going for a specific intense trick. If I wanted to, launch off one ramp and try to clear a gap that was risky, because if I didn't clear it, I would have gotten really hurt, and then land on another ramp. Anyway, that is one of the easiest ways to kind of bring about this flow state. But if you've ever watched a coder, somebody who's working on code on a computer and they're dialed in, right? Or as the social network used to call it, he's plugged in, or whatever they said. And they've got their headphones in and they're working, and they're just, everything is happening effortlessly. It's moving they're in a flow state. The reason why I think this is an important thing to talk about is because if you find yourself in a flow state consistently when you're doing something, it very well may be the thing that you're passionate at and the thing that is your purpose. So let's talk about one and the other. Your passion, something that you really, really love doing. I really love working out. I work out 6 days a week in the mornings. I love lifting weights. I love the diet that comes along with that. I love the progress that I'm able to see. I love the recomposition of my body, whether it's losing weight or gaining muscle, whatever. I love that whole thing. I love learning about new ways to entice muscle hypertrophy, and just learning about this whole world, and I really, really enjoy it. But I know that being either a bodybuilder, an Olympic athlete, or even a trainer is not my purpose. I know that because in this situation, I'm pretty rooted in reality. I know that I am not somebody who is gifted with unbelievable genetics where I can run, faster than pretty much anybody I meet, or I can, pack on muscle like it's my day job. Like it's difficult for me to make strides in any of these fitness areas. Something else I love doing, I love flying drones. I think flying drones are it's the coolest thing. I have the GoPro Karma drone, and unfortunately that actually needs to be sold because right now it is grounded because GoPro Karma has actually discontinued their drones, which is unfortunate because I really loved it, but I have to do some inner workings with the company. Either way, eventually sell it and again DJI or something. But I love drones. I think it's so cool. It's a passion. Love it. Definitely not my purpose. Definitely not. I mean, think about that. Logistically, the only way I can probably there's probably a few different ways I can make drones my purpose, but that's a tricky thing to make so purposeful that you feel good about why you're living your life. Granted, I can capture unbelievable aerial shots of somebody's wedding, which is an amazing thing. I can, go into business myself as a drone operator. I can teach how to fly drones. I can do all these different things, but it's just not my purpose. So let's flip the script. What are some of the things that I believe I was put here to do, but not necessarily my passion? I believe, as I'm sitting here right now talking to you, I believe a huge purpose in my life is to teach. I believe I am naturally good at it. I have a knack for looking at a topic, deconstructing it, explaining that to somebody, and watching for their understanding of parts A, B, and C, and then being able to replicate A, B, and C on their own and create X, Y, Z. So I believe that is something that's inherently in part of my DNA and my soul and my nature. But if you were to say I'm a teacher, right, that means clearly K through 12 or collegiate level teaching. Those settings are not for me. I tried it, not passionate about it. I thought I was going to be. I'm kind of one of those characters where I went through school to actually become a music teacher, tried it, hated it for the most part. There were some really nice moments and there were some good parts of it, but more bad than good. So not for me. So look at what we're doing right here. I am living my purpose and my passion. I'm sitting here and I'm teaching you something that I'm passionate about. Right, my purpose of educating in some way, in this case, on over the internet, whether it's Day by Design, the full online course, or just listening to this podcast or whatever, I am teaching through a different channel, and I'm teaching what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about succeeding and building positive routines in your life because I know that is been the 80-20 of my life. That's how I've been able to move the needle, so much so from being somebody who was completely not physically fit, $17 in their bank account, couldn't literally go buy a couple of pieces of pizza because every credit card was maxed out, and no direction professionally, to someone here who is incredibly happy running a business, married with a beautiful wife and kid, in this really nice house that we have, like super 180. And please, I don't mean to brag at all because there's a lot more that has to be done, but I've been able to, like I said, make this turn through simply being consistent with my daily routine. That is it. Of course, what I do in that routine is a different story, but that's the magic. So I created my own world. I created my purpose of teaching and my passion of literally building habits and routines. Now, the reason I decided to talk to you about this week was because if you are a consistent listener and watcher of the show, you'll know that last week I didn't put out an episode. And that is because I kind of went down this avenue that I'm talking to you today, and I realized something. I realized while I am very much congruent and for the most parts of my day in a flow state, doing my purposeful passion, I know that there's always room to improve. So I've been working on something really, really cool that is another leg of Upgrade My Rituals, and this is my program for youth and my youth speaking program. So what I'll be doing soon enough is I'm going to be working with high school students and talking to them about the very, very bottom leg of the pyramid that I teach all my clients in Day by Design. So I teach at the very top of the pyramid goals and objectives and how we can better set goals and look at our domains in our life and all that. And then below that, we talk a little bit more about the meat to do that, right? The routines and ritual design, which of course we've mentioned many times in the show, and even, general habit building and different things like that. And then on the bottom of that, in the supporting bottom of this whole pyramid, is the CDP framework, the choices, the decisions, and the patterns that we have in our lives. And for high school students, that's kind of where they need the most help, because they'll have the rest of their life to get, geek out about time management and routine building. But what they need as their brains are forming and they are going through extreme decision-making processes of, how am I going to navigate these 4 years of high school successfully? Where am I going to go to college? What am I going to do? How am I going to afford it? So all of these things, the CDP framework is very much rooted towards high school students, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on my seminar program towards them. Sometimes your passion and your purpose can be, right on, but you have to make way for a secondary passion and/or purpose. So I do apologize for not putting out an episode last week, but I thought this was important to kind of uncover a little bit. So the moral of this episode today is to think about where you are in your life. Where are you when it comes to your passion, where it is from your, regarding your purpose, and where are you today? Are you in a job where you are not living either of those? Now, that might be okay, and you very well may be okay living and working in that job for 35 years and retiring. That's totally fine. But what you may want to do is find another passion that you can do after hours that is also aligned with your purpose. Because again, people may be really passionate about playing video games. Is that your purpose? Because the passion will only take you so far, and it will only make you so happy. But when you're living and operating something that you're supposed to be doing and why you believe you were here, that's a flow state. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked today's video, please give me a like and consider subscribing, and of course hitting the bell notification to be notified next time I release a video. And at the end of the day, I think ultimately if we are able to marry this purpose and this passion together, I think that just literally creates a life of happiness. And if you want to hear my opinion a little bit more about what happiness even is, take a look at this video right here.